Stop being a bitch.
All right, Lemonheads, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Vice City FC. I'm your boy Fungus. I got Inter Miami extraordinaire reporter Xavi Guerrero. What's up, Xavi?
What's going on? Extraordinaire. Wow.
Yeah, bro. Hey, you're
nice.
legit, bro. You are an official Inter Miami insider.
Nice.
You know, and yeah, bro. It only took you one full season, dude. That's impressive.
The best is yet to come.
Exactly. You can only go up from here.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's been an exciting season so far, especially if you are from the state of Florida, huh?
Yeah, the beginning's been awesome.
Man, awesome. It's incredible. Because I remember both teams, Inter Miami and Orlando City, ended the season, on high notes pretty much. Even though they didn't win the MLS championship, but Inter Miami was able to make the playoffs for the first time ever. They had a good showing at the end of the season there. And Orlando City, everyone knows they won the U.S. Open Cup and also made the playoffs. So
yeah, Inter Miami had been in the playoffs before, but
were they?
They expanded, with the expanded. But
okay.
They both did make it. At the end of the season, they made runs.
Exactly.
Inter Miami had that great game against Orlando City that they needed when they won 4-1. They needed those points.
Yeah.
To sneak up, get ahead of them, and make it to the 6th spot, which was big time.
It was huge.
And it's a big rivalry. It's a big rivalry down here. Both teams.
Yeah.
If both teams are doing well, the game's going to be out of control up there and down here.
It's going to be great. I can't wait. When do they play each other? Do you know off the top of your head?
I haven't checked. I haven't looked ahead in the schedule. I just know that the game now, and then we have Chicago, and then
Yeah.
So
I see here May 20th.
Yeah, it's still a while.
Yeah, still a lot away.
A lot of things can happen from here to then.
Oh, definitely. But let's start off. The show. The name of the show is Vice City FC. So let's start off talking a little Inter Miami, bro. Like we said, they're undefeated. They're off to a hot start. Not only are they undefeated, they won both matches. So, do you think that this hot start is sustained? They beat Philly, which is the defending Eastern Conference champions.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, man. Is this hot start sustainable?
I believe so for various reasons. The first one, when I did the preview, I think it's a deeper team. I think it's a stronger team than last season. Last season was 19, 20 new players, and they made it to 6th spot. This season, they have a solid core of players that I think that core is getting even better. Among that core, Mota, I think it's going to have a good season. Yeah. Gregory is started excellent. So they have a core. They have a core of players from last season that Yellen. They have leaders, Campana, and then they have new guys coming in. Like Martinez is not in form yet, but everybody knows he's a goal scoring machine.
Oh man, when that guy gets hot, that's it, bro.
Campana hasn't been playing, and they've won both games 2-0. They got Kristov, Ukrainian center back, who has been magnificent for Inter Miami. He's been what that defense has needed, a dog to step in there and say, follow my lead. And he's been smooth. He's been fundamentals on. And he's like someone that other guys can look at and they feel inspired. That defense is shut out twice. First game against Montreal, they could have got scored. We had Drake be marvelous. Drake, another player that's playing fantastic. I think this is a season where so many of these players want to have breakout seasons, want to show. Pizarro is back, and Pizarro's having a great start to the season. And he looks like he's very motivated. He's enjoying himself. He's happy, and he wants to live up to that DP billing. And so far he has, and he still hasn't scored. So they've had scores from 4 different people, and it still hasn't been our starting, strikers, the duo that's supposed to be dynamic. Joseph and Campana.
Let me ask you, Pizarro, when he had his first run here, because he's coming back from loan, right?
Yes.
Where was he loaned to again?
Monterrey.
Monterrey.
Excellent,
Okay. Yeah. So when he had his first run here at Inter Miami, it wasn't exactly what everybody expected as far as
A little bit of a
production.
disappointing. Yeah, it's
Yes.
been a little bit disappointing.
Is Neville using him in a different way now? Because I remember that was one of the complaints that Neville wasn't using him the way the guy is used to playing.
He's more of a mix, box to box guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so much, it was that in his recent interviews, he's talked and he's opened up a lot. And I think it's more of the human factor that
Yeah.
has him playing better. One of the things he mentioned in, one of the practice interviews is that first he's happy in life. So he's happy and then he's enjoying playing. He's more mature. It wasn't, everybody was aware that when the first time around, he didn't get along with Gonzalo, which was the top dog. So there was a little bit of strife there. And if it's the union and the unity of this team is just as strong as last season, and maybe even more because they all say that they feel that this is a better team. So they're confident in each other and they enjoy each other. They have this is a team that gets along on and off the pitch. And that might seem trivial, but for big things, it's super important because you're going out there and you're fighting for your brother. You're fighting for people that you care for. It's not the same, you go out there. Yeah, it's your teammate. You're getting paid, but the guy's a jerk, So it's not the same thing because they're humans. And I believe this is definitely sustainable because I think it's a deeper team. You got a guy like Pizarro who's very talented and is very motivated to come in. And they're surrounded with very good players. I asked Robert Taylor the last game after his amazing goal, how do you just come in because he was away from the team? How do you just come in and fit right in and look like you never left? And the guy tells me it has to do with the players around you. And yes, when you have solid, really good, strong players around you, the game's so much easier. So much easier to play. So I do believe it's sustainable because it's a deeper team. And it's showing you right now, you have your two top guns, Martinez and Campana, are not producing. Once those guys start rolling, they're gonna pick up some slack and they're gonna make it easier on those midfielders. And I think they're even Stefanelli. I've pumped him up, I've hyped him up from preseason from what I've seen, and he hasn't produced that. But he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been bad. He just hasn't produced what I expected. I expected a little bit more, and I think he can give that. And the guys that have come in have been solid. Like I told you, Christoph is solid. Negri on the left left back last season was a headache. And now they're solid with that guy there because he goes out and attacks and he's very good defending also. And besides that, you have he got hurt last game, so McVay not seriously. He's day to day, so it looks like he is going to play, but it doesn't seem to be serious. But McVay stepped into the left. But you also have Noah who did injure his knee. He was having a fantastic preseason. During the season, once he gets healthy, you're solid in that left back. You're solid on the right side with Yedlin and Neville. So I think in every position they have two solid players, and that's important.
So you mentioned the back line, right?
Yes,
Last season you had one of their better defenders playing out of position.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, absolutely. Chris
McVay. Okay, now McVay is playing where? In
center back. He's playing center back, and that's his natural position. The guy's a 6'4", 6'5" guy. You normally don't have or request those guys to be out and being up and down. It's just it's very physically demanding and challenging. But he's a very technical guy for his size, and he has a presence. He's strong in the air. He comes out playing well.
Man, I would hope so. 6'5", coño.
Well, well, you'd be surprised. Some guys are not, but as center back, you have to be, And he's just very smooth and very good there. And it's another guy that I think is ascending. And I think as a team, they're ascending. A lot of these guys are coming up at the same time and going to have very big years for them. So I think it's sustainable. It's the perspective I have right now. We'll see. It's only 2 games, but in preseason, they didn't have a great preseason. But you see the ability and the potential that's there.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of potential. They're playing okay. Not like wow. So, but they are off to a hot start.
Yeah, as a team, as a unit, they're playing very well. The difference is they're playing with a high intensity, and you see the players sacrificing. their bodies. I mean, they're up
Mm.
pressing. They're coming back down to defend. That you don't see people walking, or standing.
Yeah.
Another thing Pizarro said it in that interview this week in practice. He said the team, they're pressing and everybody's defending. It's got a little bit of a
Mm.
shot to a couple guys,
Yeah.
that are no longer here, that were
Yeah.
superstars, but they slacked a little bit on the defense. Well, big time players, big production, but
Hmm.
it's a two-way game. It's like
Yeah.
basketball, dude. It's like
Hmm.
basketball. You have to be good attack, and your game has to be strong on defense too. So
Yeah.
he feels that the team is stronger in that way, and he's one of the guys that's playing. Pizarro looks like he's in amazing shape. I mean,
Yeah.
last game it was 80, I don't know what minute, and he's running up and down. He's chasing people. He's got the
Hmm.
ball. He's dribbling, and he still hasn't done the magnificent things. He hasn't scored a goal in these first two games because he scored in preseason, and he hasn't he gave an assist, but it was kind of like he did a move and the ball went a little long, and Gene came in and ripped it and scored, so he gets an assist for that. But it was kind of lucky, but it's an assist nonetheless. Those are things that he needs to provide.
All right. So I mean, yeah, you mentioned Pizarro, that he looks like he's in amazing shape. He just came back from loan from Monterrey. I don't follow the Liga MX a lot, but I know that Monterrey
He's one of
is
the top
on
teams.
top of they're on top of the Clausura right now, and they were
One of the top
second
teams.
in the Apertura
The last few years, the last many years, they've been a top team. They're a top team there, and they're big dogs. He didn't have a great spell there either.
Mhm.
It was adequate,
But do you think that helped him gain something back? Because when he came to Inter Miami originally, he was, I think, leading scorer in Liga MX, if I'm not mistaken, right?
But
Or something like that.
I'm telling you, this guy in that little interview they had during the week where he talked, he kind of like let it all out. To me, he said that. He said, "Look, I went away and I come back. I'm more mature and I appreciate what I have here. I wasn't appreciating what I had. I wasn't appreciating, playing, enjoying the game for a living. Like he's saying, now I'm feeling it. I'm, he's loving it. He's comfortable. He's confident and he's happy. So to play a sport at a high level, you have to be confident. You have to be confident. So it looks like he has his confidence back. And if you're playing and enjoying it, you're gonna have a good time. Especially if you're a guy that has a lot of skills. He's a talented player. He's a talented player. If he puts it together, he's a big time player.
That's what's up. So, what do you feel like led to the hot start for Inter Miami? Besides team chemistry, because if they had to have switched up some things. I know Neville wasn't known for being a super technical manager. He always got he's known as a locker room guy, but
I think he gets a little bit of a bad rep for that. I think he gets a little bad rep for that too.
Yeah, but he had to have made changes this season, especially now that guys
the style of play.
Yeah.
Last season when they started, remember when last season he was more of a laid back counter, wait, line of defense and wait and counter. This season he's saying counter, bull. They're going up. They're going to try to take the ball from you, and they're intense and they're not giving you space. That's what they did to Philadelphia. Philadelphia has one of the best midfields in the league. I mean, obviously they're the finalists, right? And they have all those guys. The starting 11 are the same starting 11. They've missed a lot of other guys off the bench, but the starting 11 are the same starting 11 that made it to the finals. And Miami basically smothered them defensively. They no spaces, no time to think, no time to control, and just you had the ball. There's somebody on top of you. There's somebody pushing you. There's somebody. So that's one of the things. And then they're going quick, looking to score. And they're moving the ball pretty good. They have a good chemistry. And it's a continuation of the journey. He said from the coach, he sees it as a continuation from the second half of the season on, where the team started clicking. So I see more intensity. I see the purpose is go. Let's go. Score 3, 4, 5. They were up and they were still attacking and defending at a high rate. So that's the big difference. And can they maintain that? That's where you asked about sustainability. That takes a physical toll during a 34-game season. So that's where you need to have the depth that I think they do have as a team. I think the players that can come in are pretty decent and pretty good players. I mean, I'm a Bryce Duke guy. I like the way he plays. He's been coming off the bench. He's been getting some solid 30 minutes, which is good. But anything happens, he's a guy that can come in, and he's a very solid player.
Yeah.
And I'm a little more worried about, and I was last season, about like Gregory. Gregory is the glue to this team.
Yeah.
So nobody does what Gregory does. Everybody, they defend a high rate, but Gregory's like a dog. I mean, he's a pit bull. He chops people down, and then he helps to distribute and get the game going. He's up and down all over the field. So, but I think, and it's a little surprising that they do have, they have Ulloa, but Kramashi, he just turned 18. It's putting a lot of pressure on the kid. But I think he would be a solid replacement at that position, because he's another like box to box guy, and he's very intense to it and high energy. So I think they're like nurturing him, and he'll be like the successor to that role. But he's very similar, and he's more technical. In my view, he's got a little better technique.
So they're deep, is what you're saying.
I think they're at least 2 deep at every position, and that helps. Maybe more, because even in forwards, I mean, they got Martinez, Campana, and then you have Jinko that can play there. Stefanelli can play there. Jake Lacava. They have Schneider, Schneider Borgelin, sorry, who looks like he's going to be a stud. They have players, and they're giving them experience, and they're getting in. Like in every position, they have solid players. So it looks good, and to me, it looks sustainable. But we have to see. It's a long season. It depends on injuries and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the unpredictabilities of the game. That injuries and
that's normal
part stuff of the like game. That. Yeah, definitely. All right. So who's been the most important player on the team, and who's been your MVP so far?
Okay, the most important player. You have to go with Drake, because in the first game he had the clean sheet. He has 2 clean sheets, and he's growing in his leadership. It's his stature as a leader on the team is growing. His influence is there, because he's the type that does the meditations. He likes to meditate before games, and now he has a lot of the guys doing the same thing. So they're following the leader. In the games he's playing, he's made 2 silly mistakes, but he's human. He's human, right? But you know what? He made the mistake, and he made up for it right away with great saves. So that speaks well for him. So I think he's been the most important in regards to maybe the MVP. But I will go with the center back, Christoph, because in any quality team, any championship caliber team, and I'm not saying they're going to be champions. Don't. I'm just saying, in these types of teams, you have a line of right through the middle. You have quality goalkeeper. Miami has that. You have like a quality, star. When I say quality, I mean like star center back. I think Christoph is playing at a very high level. I mean, the guy won 17 championships in Ukraine with one of the top teams, and who's always playing, the tournaments, the top tournaments. Yeah. So he's not a scrub. He's got a lot of experience, and he's coming out here, and he looks like he has a lot in the
tank. Who did he play for? Dynamo Kiev?
No, Shakhtar.
Shakhtar Donetsk.
Exactly. So he's won 17 titles in 13 seasons. That speaks well of you. So he knows how to win, and he knows what it takes. So then you have midfield. I'm gonna in this midfield. I'm gonna put Gregory. Usually I want like a 10 to be the star, but I'm putting Gregory because he just does so much. He does so much, and he's the captain. And then you got somebody up top, but here you got 2 guys up top. But we're gonna say Joseph, because Joseph is the one that's playing right now, and he's the one that has almost 100 goals in the league. But you also have Campana. So they have that line right down the middle that's super solid. So that gives me an idea that they can do things. They can do things in this league.
Yeah. All right. So Inter Miami has New York City FC tomorrow and Toronto the week after. All right. Both home games, I think, right? Yeah.
They're playing New York away. They're away. They play
away?
Yeah. Inter Miami played the first 2 games at home.
Oh, my bad. Okay. So they are away tomorrow and the week after then.
That's a lot of travel there. New York, and then
New York and Toronto are pretty closer.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. They actually scheduled it good, because it was last season where they went to the West Coast, and then they traveled to
Oh,
Canada, and it was crazy.
yeah,
And they
whoever.
actually had a great showing in Montreal. It was
Yeah,
crazy
I do
because they
remember
actually
that.
went over there and played really well, which is
Yeah.
weird, you know.
No, I remember we were talking about that. We were talking about just that. Like, damn, they need to win this game because then they got to travel to Montreal and they're gonna be tired from the travel. But then they actually did well over there.
Yeah, I think it was
But
against the Sounders, right? They beat the Sounders and then they tied. I think it was Montreal, if off the
I don't
top of my
remember
head.
who they played in the West Coast first. But I do remember that we were talking about that.
Yeah, it was tough, but this
Yeah.
one, they're going to New
Hmm.
York. It's always tough,
Yeah.
a place to play. YFC has a very solid team. They took us out of the first round last season. It's not
Yeah.
exactly the same team. Obviously, they've lost some players, but they got some guys, back. They got Santi Rodriguez coming back, young stud midfielder,
Hmm.
and they have a quality team. They're home. They know their pitch. It's home field advantage, home cooking.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough game for Inter Miami. But one of the things that the coach said in his conference too this week in practice, I believe it was Thursday, he said that the away matches are going to define the season for Inter Miami because they were
Mm.
horrendous last season away from home. And he said, look, if we would have won 2-3 more games away, we would have probably had a home game. We would have been in the top four. So he
Exactly.
said that's gonna. Hey, what's up, Steve? That's Mr. Don Cafecito. Oye, he said like the home, the away games are going to define what we're going to be. So
Yeah.
I've been saying it's funny because you say, oh, this is a big game. This is a big game to start the season. Oh, how can the first and second game be big games? But they're
Exactly.
statement games. And then now the
Yes.
third game is a statement game. It's not just a statement to the league. It's a statement to yourself. Like these guys
Hmm.
have confidence and they believe if they go out to New York and get a win, man, they're going to be
No,
like,
that's
it's
beating
huge.
Philly put the league on notice. But people are still gonna react like, oh, maybe it's a fluke, right?
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
they
Yeah, make
if they start
excuses.
off exactly, if they start off the season 3-0 with one of those wins being against Philly and the other one being against a team that eliminated them from the playoffs last season
On the road, on a
on the
tough place
road,
to
oh
play.
yeah,
And it's like the
amazing.
coach said,
That'll be huge.
they're playing the number one, number two, number three team rank. The
Yeah.
top teams from last season. I know it was last
Hmm.
season, but man, they still got a
Yeah,
lot. They still got a lot.
of
Those are
course.
tough teams. And if Miami flies up there and hands them the business,
Hmm.
this is going to tell you, oh, what? There's something here.
Yeah.
It's not just a fluke. It's not just and Neville's not so crazy and all this stuff. People are gonna have to start saying, oh, maybe there is something in cooking down in Miami.
Yeah. So Don Cafecito here is hoping for a Joseph Martinez goal,
You're not the
right?
only one. You're not the only one because if you know about soccer, the goal scorers. A lot of times they're streaky, right? They're streaky,
Yes.
and if you don't see it go in, it kind of gets on you. But
Hmm.
once you see the first one go in, you're like, oh, I remember that. Boom, and especially a guy like Joseph
Yeah.
that can put 2-3 in. So he
So
hasn't had that opportunity yet.
we would love to see Joseph, start to pick up steam earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
But who do you think is actually going to be the contributing force for this next game against New York City?
Wow, this is a small pitch. I love the midfield. My midfield players.
Hmm.
Um, I said it a couple of times that I think Mota is going to break out this season. He has a couple of
Yeah.
assists already, but I think he's going to score in this game
Mm.
because he's got more liberty now. Yeah, he's playing
Yeah.
kind of like a double pivot with Gregory, but he's the one that's further up now. Last season, it was the other way. You were talking about tactics and things changed. Last
Yeah.
season, he had Gregory go further up and he had Mota stay because, Mota is cleaner coming out,
Yeah.
cleaner receiving balls. But I didn't like that because I think when you are that way, you have to be up a little bit higher. Mota is more of a menace with that shot.
Yeah.
And he's a menace with some good passes. He puts good passes. He put that pass for Taylor to put in his chest and rip it. He has more offensive skill. And I like Gregory there a little bit right in front of the defense because he's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah.
He plays so much bigger than he is. Physically, you see him, and he's not like a huge, like big muscular guy or anything. But when you see him playing, he's a bully. He's tough. He goes out there, he bangs people, he goes 100%. So that's why he's the captain. I mean, he gives the team everything he has all the time. But I think Mota could be a big time player in this game. And I'm still waiting for Stefanelli to step up. I'm still waiting for
Yeah.
him to step up. And then, like Cafecito said there, we want to see if Joseph gets one in. Joseph has
Yeah.
played well in regards to being a positive contributor, the running, defending. The attitude looks good. You know, he doesn't look like he's flustered yet. So he's there. He's contributing, but
Hmm.
he needs to get on. He needs to get on because that's just the way it is. He's a
Yeah.
natural goal scorer. The ball might hit him in the head and go in by mistake. So that's what he needs.
Here we go. Steve says Stefanelli might have a good game, cooler weather, and always presses well. A ball might bounce his way, and he might score.
Okay, let's go, man. If we get Stefanelli and Mota scoring, we're geniuses. Yes, that's big. That's big time because he suffered from he's getting adjusted, acclimated. This is another guy, that's gonna keep getting better. He's getting adjusted. He comes from cooler weather. It's not the same. Both games he's come out near the 60th minute.
Where is Stefanelli coming from?
From Sweden.
Oh, okay.
He played in Sweden. I forgot the team's name, but it's one of the top teams there too.
Yeah.
So it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment, but he's doing very well because it's another guy that's putting his heart, and then when he's done, bring in Bryce, and then that's what I'm telling you. It's a deeper team. It's like, okay, Stefanelli's coming out. He played a great game, and then you bring Bryce Duke. That Bryce Duke last year, gave 7 assists. He led the team in assists, even though he got kind of demoted when Pozuelo came in, and he scored 1 or 2 goals. I don't remember. And I expect him to have a better year. Like there's so many players that I think are gonna get better of those 19 new players that came in from last season and the guys that are here now. I call him the road runner. You're talking about Stefanelli, or who? Stefanelli or Bryce? Probably Stefanelli. Stefanelli's the one that runs all over the place.
Yeah, he's a burner.
Yeah, he runs. He in one of the preseason games there was a breakaway and he was like all the way up and came back, almost caught up to the guy. Almost caught up to the guy to defend it. But it shows you the heart.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the cojones, but I just said it. But the team plays with that. The team plays with that, and they're it's I think they're an ascending team. But like the coach said, the away games are going to define the season, and this is the first test, and it's a big test.
It's a big one.
It's a big test, and let's see how they do. The first 2 games we've been okay. Let's see. Well, they showed something, and now let's see what happens in this game here. It's really important that they have a good showing.
All right. Any other Inter Miami comments before we move on to Orlando City?
Let's see what we got here. Okay, I just put Mota. He said he's having more fun. He's playing with more confidence, and he believes it's a better team than previous years.
Yeah.
And he said his first intention after the option, the loan was always to come back, and he wants to show that he's worth the investment that put in him, the faith that put in him, and I think he's going to have a big year. So that in regards to him, Negri is day to day, so that's an important thing from Miami. You can't underscore that because the defense, has been playing solid. If you move a guy, you don't know how that's going to be. Well, something here, Ian Frey. It's a name that might be a little bit forgotten, but he's a solid young center back who's been injured a couple times already, and the coach talked about him. He said that he's working back his way back, but that's a guy you got to keep an eye on because it's going to make the team even deeper. He's a very, very good player. He has a higher level, a higher ceiling, I think, than most of the center backs on the team, to be honest, because he's got a higher technical ability, plus he's super fast. So you got to keep an eye on that guy there. Let's see, and that's it. As far as Inter Miami, there's some parties, some watch parties out there. I've been at the parties at the stadium, so I can't wait till we go back. And the atmosphere is cool. The team is hyped. The fans are hyped. And let's see what they do. I mean,
go ahead. Do they always host away game watch parties at the stadium?
No, I don't. The ones that I'm talking about are like at bars and stuff like that. They had one big one at the stadium. I don't remember what it was for.
Maybe it was a playoff game.
I don't remember, but I know that no, they don't. They don't. They haven't had that, but they do
Mm.
the different bars where you can go. I
Ah,
know,
okay,
and
okay.
I know in the Doral and Hollywood, they're having some big watch parties with the
Yeah.
supporters groups and stuff like that. So that's
Which
cool.
which one is the one that you like to go to?
I haven't gone to the watch parties here because
Ah, okay.
since remember I'm married with 4 kids, so it's
Yeah.
I got to give some family time. I got to give some family time. If I take my kids to the watch party, they say the one in the round with all the banging stuff.
Mhm.
Who knows what's gonna happen? They'll go crazy. They're gonna go crazy.
Yeah, bro.
So
I've been to some before. Vice City,
yeah, I want to go. I want to go.
1896
I want to go. I want
event.
to go to the next one. I want to go to the
Man, they
next
get
one.
wild.
Hey
It's
guys,
fun.
yeah, I saw they put out a tweet
Hmm.
saying, "Hey, Michelle Kaufman and I don't know who else they mentioned." Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to go too. I know you guys haven't invited me, but
Yeah.
I want to
Show up,
go.
bro. What
Yeah,
encourages you? Show up, man.
I'm gonna show up with my Lemon City Live
You're tall, so you're
and
Vince Vaughn.
no, because I love I get hyped with the drums and I mean
Yeah.
that's one of the best parts of the stadium. So I want to be a part
Yeah.
of that. I can't be this week, but
Hmm.
hope maybe next week. But sometime I'm
Yeah.
just gonna pop in there, do a cameo appearance.
Do it. Do it, bro. It'll be much appreciated. I
Let's
remember
talk
once
about.
we did a live show from one of the watch parties.
Oh, hey, that's not a bad idea. That's not
Yeah,
a bad
man.
idea.
We can revisit that idea. It's a lot of fun.
I like that idea. I
You know
really
what we
do.
can do? Maybe one day we'll do a watch party during Miami versus Orlando match, where you're at a Miami watch party. I'm at an Orlando one while they're playing each other.
Nice,
That'd be
nice.
fun.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
yeah, 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 yeah.
We'll let that tinker a little bit.
I think you're onto
All right.
something. Let's talk about Mickey Mouse Soccer
Let's
Club
do
up
it,
there.
bro. Hey, you were talking about big games coming up and how these first few games were statement games, but hey, man, Orlando City also undefeated. They didn't win their second match. They drew against Cincinnati, but then they also went and they played a CONCACAF Champions League match against Tigres from Mexico.
One of the best teams.
One of the best
One of
teams
the
in Mexico.
favorites to win
I
it
think they're
all.
second. I think they're second
They're
in the
one of the
standings right
favorites to
now.
win it all. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And bro, at Tigres at in an away game, and they took a draw,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is
They
huge.
were on their heels a lot of the time, but then
They were,
they started to recover
yeah,
and they made a game of it, and that's tough. And that's a
yeah,
good
dude,
team. That's
yeah, man,
definitely a good team.
definitely. So yeah, it was a hard fought match. But the Orlando guys really stepped it up, and I don't know how they kept Tigres at bay, but I mean, there's one, there's
Cojones.
one,
They play with Cojones.
yeah, there's two names in Orlando's squad that should stick out to everybody.
What's
And
that?
that's El Pulpo,
Oh, of
right?
course.
Gallese, that guy's a monster, bro. He blocks. They call him El Pulpo because he
He
blocks with
stepped
all
up.
appendages, bro.
He stepped up.
He's
Yeah, he stepped up. He stepped up. He stepped up.
in the home opener against Red Bulls, he blocked a shot with his freaking face, bro. It, from like point blank range.
He does that to Miami too. I remember a
Yeah,
game where like he blocked and I was like, dude, he got lucky. How did he do that?
and at this point, you can't call it luck because it keeps
No,
happening.
no, yeah, yeah, no. He knows what he's doing. I mean,
Yeah, man,
he's a
it's insane.
national team player, so he's not.
Yeah,
It's for a
yeah,
reason. He's a very good player
he's
and
very
a
good, man.
starter, and he's starters.
Yep, and he's the reason why Orlando has had the success that they've had lately. Because let me tell you, Orlando on the field, there's only one other player that sticks out, and that's Facundo Torres. The kid is a baller. He's gonna put
Yeah,
balls in the back of the net.
yeah.
You don't have to worry about him. Everybody else on the field, they have good players, but
A lot of young guys with
yeah,
some energy. Some energy. You got a lot of
yes,
energy.
they have a lot of young guys. But when I'm watching the games, it's hard for me to decipher what kind of style they're gonna play with. You know what I mean?
They're trying to figure it
Sometimes,
out. They're trying to
yeah,
figure it
I
out.
think they are still trying to figure out what works best for them. But you gotta hand it to them, man. They defend their asses off. That's one thing
Mhm.
that Orlando City does well. And when the defense does break down, you have El fucking Pulpo back there to block their shots, man. So yeah. So that just those two pieces of their game that are solidified, the defense and goalkeeping, is gonna help them while they're developing everything else, right? Something because I'm seriously, I'm watching the games. I
It
can't
all
figure
starts in the
out.
back. It all starts in the back. It all starts with
Yes,
the defense. If you want to have a good
correct.
team, it starts in the back.
Correct. but I can't figure out if they want to tiki taka their way to the goal or if they want to just, long ball to a runner, because they're doing both throughout the game, and it's very. I don't want to say it's situational.
Can I tell you
I feel
something?
like it's more reactive. What's up?
Can I tell you something? I
Yes.
don't mind that. Like, let's say
Hmm.
Inter Miami is more of a touching team. Da, 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 they
Yeah.
touch, but I don't mind that when you're getting pressed and there's no
Yeah.
space, you shoot it over, dude. I think
Hmm.
teams have to be hybrid. Now, what
Yes.
you're saying is they need to have more of a sense of when to do what, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Because sometimes they have plenty of time to control the ball,
And they
and they're
launch it.
just and they're sending rockets. You know what I mean? And that's why they are not um competing when it comes to how the percentage of the game that they're controlling the ball. They're really giving that away for the most part, because
Sometimes that's by
they give away
design
the.
too, though. Sometimes that's by design, like
This doesn't
because they
appear
want
to
to
be by
counter.
design.
No, they're just not controlling the ball.
Yeah, they're just not controlling the ball. It doesn't appear to be by design. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, sometimes you're just
You
you're
wait
pulling
to
back and
counter.
countering. Exactly. That's not really what they're doing, because they are trying to build by passing the ball, by moving
Okay.
the ball around. They just I think they're still working on that aspect of their game.
Was there a lot of turnover in from last season to this season as far as the field players for Orlando? Because
There was
I
some. I wouldn't say there's a whole lot. I still
not
recognize.
major, not major.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing major. Let me
Because
see.
sometimes that affects. But like in Miami, you
Yeah.
got, let's see, you got the left back, center back,
Hmm.
the attacking. That's three right there, and a forward.
Man.
So that's four out of 11 guys, new guys. But the
Yeah.
team, the core of the guys that are there, they know each other, and they're touching and playing better than last season. And this is
Hmm.
starting the season. They're just starting the season, and they already look crisper than
Yeah.
they did last season. So it does take its toll, and it depends how the pieces fit, right? So
Yes. For sure. For sure. But yeah, man, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see Orlando, finish off how they did last season and just keep the ball rolling into this season.
they've
You know what
always
I
been
mean?
solid, man. They've always been solid. Even when Miami was a little crappy, Orlando
Yeah.
was there fighting. And they talk a lot of junk,
Yeah.
down on Miami, but I think this
They do.
season,
They have bro.
oh, they
Orlando
they hate
fans
Miami.
hate Miami, dude.
I don't know why, dude. Maybe
I mean,
it's a little.
it's
Is
the
it?
in-state rivalry, bro. Any city, any town that has teams like that in any sport, there's gonna be that, bro. Like Steelers, Phillies. I mean,
Yeah.
Eagles, Steelers, Eagles, bro. Those teams hate each other. Those fan bases hate each other. You know what I mean? That's just natural.
No, and Orlando City, got the Cup. It's the U.S. Cup or U.S. Open
Mm-hmm.
Cup. They got a little
Yeah,
lucky against Miami. Miami dominated them in the game. We got
that's true.
an
That's
own
true.
goal, and all this other garbage, but
Yeah,
they won, and that's what matters. So now Miami has to get some
yeah.
hardware. They got to get something in that, and
Uh-huh.
in there. They
But
got to
I'm
get
glad.
some
Look,
sort of trophy.
I'm glad Orlando won, because rivalries are not fun if nobody's winning anything. If it's just two middle of the pack teams that are always fighting each other, that's not a fun rivalry. You know
It's
what I
just, it's
mean?
just, it's just, it's small time. And for this to get big, yeah, they have
Yeah,
to be winning. They have to be
somebody had
winning.
to win. Yeah, bro. And Orlando had a head start of I don't know how many seasons, so of course it's natural that they would win something first. But let me tell you, man, Miami caught up quick
It's been
because
tough. It's been tough for
it has
Miami
been.
with all the things that have happened. But if
Yeah.
you look, you know what? If you look around, all these players that Miami got originally, and
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately it wasn't done the right way, the budget, blah blah blah. But if you look at them, where they've gone, they've been pretty good players. I
Yeah.
mean, they've lost. They had to get rid of some players that are doing very well. Where they're at their clubs now. So
Yeah.
Carranza, is just killing it over in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Figal is in Boca Juniors and being a very solid player. He's injured and stuff.
Yeah.
They picked some good guys. They had good scouting, but everything else wasn't. And now Henderson, Baby Godfather, I call him Baby Godfather, so I'm gonna have
Uh-huh.
to trademark it because the Godfather is still Pat Riley until he's no longer the
Of
Godfather.
course.
But Baby Godfather, came in sanctions, and this guy has put together last season 19, and they
Yeah.
made the playoffs. And now this season he brings in a couple other people, and the
Yeah.
team is looking solid.
Hmm.
And we're still, under sanctions. Next season, it opens
Ooh,
up. I
that's
I I,
true.
I would love to see what's gonna happen.
Hey,
Hopefully, there's a guy.
so
There's a guy by that wears number 10. He's a
mhm,
lefty. He's a lefty, and he's pretty
yeah,
good. He's pretty good. The options there. People are downgrading it and saying that it's never gonna happen. You know what I
yeah,
think about when they tell me that? I remember there was Sid Rosenthal, this
hmm,
New York radio guy. He was always
yeah.
talking
I
crap.
remember him.
So when LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh, that the rumor was out there, he's like, "Oh, nah, you crazy? That's never gonna happen." And I'm saying, why not? If
Yeah,
anybody can make it happen, it's Pat Riley. Well, I
yeah.
feel the same thing about Baby
But
Godfather.
Henderson,
Baby Godfather.
man, that guy.
If
Yeah,
if
you know
anybody
what?
can make it happen, he'll
I
he'll
completely
become
forgot,
legendary status. He'll become
dude.
legendary status
I
if he
complete
pulls that off.
I completely forgot that Miami was under sanctions because he made great moves this past offseason. Like, damn, that's wild, bro. He did all of that
And
with
now when you
sanctions.
show me the money,
Oof.
let's see what he's gonna do.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
crazy. But you know
Uh,
what, bro? Orlando City has been known to attract a big name here and there, also, bro.
yeah,
And but
good
they
players.
didn't bring anybody huge this past offseason. I think they're switching their strategy to bring in guys from South America that are great players or can be great players but are relatively still unknown. Like last season
Young,
was
yeah,
Facundo Torres' first season, right? They brought him in from Peñarol in Uruguay,
yeah,
and look what he's done already, man. He was last
solid,
in his
solid
first season
player.
with the team. He was a leading scorer,
Yeah,
and then in the home opener they brought in this kid off the bench, Ramiro Enrique,
okay.
right? Some Argentine kid, bro. That kid, as soon as he got on the field, he sparked Orlando City,
But look
and
what you're talking about. Look what you're talking about. You're talking about Argentina and Uruguay, two of the traditional
yeah,
like powerhouses in the world, and they
yeah,
have so much talent,
yeah,
so
man.
much talent.
Of course, but I don't understand why that's not like
The
the
norm.
the you know how all college football teams always recruit in South Florida. All MLS teams should be recruiting in friggin' South America, man.
Well, you know what? They go and they get some guys from Europe too. With
Yeah.
some big game experience.
Hmm.
But I agree with you. In South
Yeah.
America, you get and you're just talking about those two powerhouses. You haven't even mentioned Brazil. But then
Yeah.
then you go
Exactly.
and you talk about Colombia, where you get some very good players at
Hmm.
good prices. Peru has a
Yeah.
tradition. Chile has very good players.
Yeah.
Bolivia, you're talking about Diablo Echeverri play. You're
Hmm.
go, and then we're not even mentioning. We talked about this a show. I think it was last season.
Yeah.
You're not even talking about the Caribbean. Look at what
Yeah.
happened in the CONCACAF with Violet beating
Dude,
Austin. And you got
can
Haiti
we
has a tradition of very good soccer. They
can
they
we
have a
talk about
tradition.
that, dude? We have to
Absolutely,
we have to mention
you
that.
have to talk about that. That's a huge upset, but
Let's
it's more of
pivot,
an
bro.
upset for people that don't realize the
Yes.
tradition that Haiti has. Haiti has. I'm even going local, like Copa Latina,
Yeah.
because Nono Baptiste, they would bring some of the players from Haiti to play there, which isn't
Oh
fair because
shit.
they were better.
Yeah.
But they play a nice style, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of good players. I
Hmm.
remember a few years back. It's got to be at least 4 or 5 years. Haiti played Spain,
Yeah.
and Spain came with their tiki taka, ta, 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 and I went to the Hard Rock to watch the game, and I'm looking. I was impressed with three of the Haitian players. I said
Hmm.
these guys can play on any team in the world. There was three of
Yeah.
them. I don't remember the names now because I lost
Yeah.
track of it. But there's always been talent,
Hmm.
and hopefully
You know what?
you,
You know what helps the Caribbean. This is what prevents the Caribbean from being known as a soccer as a breadbasket for soccer, because a lot of those islands belong to either Great Britain or they're colonies of other big
they go
countries.
out, they go to
Yeah.
Europe.
So some of those players, they can represent Jamaica or they can represent Trinidad, but because they're playing in Europe and they have that citizenship, they if they get called up to England, who do you think they're going to represent?
But
They
some of the, you know what? In this World Cup, we saw that though. where a lot of these guys are going back. Like Morocco. All these guys. More than half the team was Europe based, and then they went, which was such a great story because some of them didn't even speak Arabic,
I know,
and so they didn't understand teammates. And
but
like
what happened because they got snubbed by the Spains and the Frances and those
teams.
Of
course. But what did they do? They went and represented the country, and you're getting a lot of these guys going back now to get the opportunity because these powerhouses, it's they're too deep. So you go and you make that home team better, and then you're living like a lot of these guys, they were living the heritage firsthand for the first time also, through the sport and through the World Cup. What a wonderful ride. What an amazing story, Morocco, right? But we're going back to the CONCACAF. That loss by Austin, even the coach said he kind of like overlooked the team. But you know what? Bro. Yeah, you have to.
I hope he learned from that, bro. That's gotta be that better be the last time that happens to that guy, bro, because that's embarrassing.
These tournaments are awesome because of that, and people. I remember on Twitter, I'm reading, people are like walling out because there's like a huge tree behind the soccer goal. Because because the U.S. you have these great pitches, right here around the corner, like world class. Where you can go just and play open play, it's hilarious. So these teams have to adapt. Some of these teams that are malcriados, you have to go, and adapt to the where the ball bounces, where the field has a little, and that's the essence of.
And
soccer.
That's why some of the best players in the world come from environments where they don't have pretty fields, they don't even have fucking wearable shoes.
What those guys do?
They're playing barefoot. Yeah,
playing
barefoot
day,
on rocky
all
ground
day on the
street,
like on the beach, on the, that's the essence of football. I go to your backyard, wherever it is, and I'm gonna beat you there. I'm gonna adapt. You got to come to my. That's the beautiful thing about world soccer. It's like, and then when you go to the World Cup, but we're going into too many big stuff, but it just gets you excited. I was really happy for that CONCACAF, for the Champions League, because it's ours, right? You feel it, because I love the European. I watch it. It's the best football in the world, because they're at a different level right now, mostly because it's monetary.
Yes.
But what you have here is your local flavor, and it feels so good to see, these fields, these weird fields, the crazy stadiums. It's a great story. It's a great story. It's fun. And now we're gonna get the League Cup games coming up, and Inter Miami is gonna play the first round. There's two very tough teams: Cruz Azul, the Mexican team, and then Atlanta United. So it's very tough. Inter Miami has this season. That's where you need all that depth, right?
Yeah.
You need a deep team, and this is where you're gonna see who has a deep team, because there's so many games coming up that everybody's gonna play.
Bro, Orlando plays tomorrow, the regular MLS match against DC United, right? Middle of the pack, DC United. Orlando should be able to stay undefeated, but then they play again on Wednesday against Tigres again, the second leg of the CONCACAF tournament.
Tough game, at home. Game. Yeah. Right, but that Gignac is that how you pronounce it?
Gignac,
he can't come in because he's not fully vaxxed. Which we're not gonna get into the political stuff of that, but that's a big loss for that team, man.
It is, but
it's a different team without him. Yeah. It's a different team without him.
Yeah, that offense will struggle without him, but that's
a plus for Orlando. They got to take advantage of it. You got to take advantage. You play the cards you dealt.
Tigres knew of that about him, that he wasn't going to be able to, travel to the United States. Yeah. So that's they're okay with that, I'm sure, because they're more focused on.
They got plenty of players. They got plenty of players.
Exactly.
The one that's going to replace him might not be at his level at this point, but they have plenty of talent on that team, so they'll be fine.
But that's actually, that could work to their advantage, because
of course a hungry guy coming in to prove a point,
and there's might not be a lot of film on the guy either.
Absolutely.
So it might be tough for Orlando to prepare for that game.
Yeah, and these type of tournaments, they're also auditions, because the teams are seeing players they've never had access to before, and then people remember, this young guy, so you're auditioning for other teams too at this point, for bigger, better teams. That I'm sure that the Haitian team Violet.
Oh man,
There's a few guys there that I'm sure after this tournament are going to be moving on.
bro,
Especially
I wouldn't be surprised if one or two of those guys are playing for Austin FC next season.
No surprise there. No surprise there. No surprise there for
Yeah,
sure.
bro. Let me see. What's this guy's name?
He scored
Michel Sherry scored 2 goals. He had a brace.
yeah. And there's a couple
You
other
know,
guys that
he's only
are
25 years old.
yeah. He's in his prime. He's ready. He's
Yeah,
ready. He's ready to make a move.
bring
He's
him to
ready
the
to make a
MLS,
move.
bro. Look,
Oh,
it would be,
for sure that guy's gonna be moving soon.
yeah,
I don't
man.
know. I'm
Why
gonna reach out to him to see if he needs an agent or anything.
why doesn't Inter Miami sign him?
Well, we have a big.
We have too many strikers already.
No. We have a big from Haitian descent. Our striker, Borgelin Chanadier, is
Okay.
Haitian, and he's a big. He's young,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a bright future. Dude, this guy's 6'5" and runs amazing. You know what?
How many 6'5" guys do we have on the team?
We have some big guys, dude. I think if in the offseason he wants to play tight end for the Dolphins or somewhere else, I think there's something there, man. He might make a little more money there.
There you go. Oh, all right, man. Yeah, bro. So Orlando City got that big game next week. I wouldn't call tomorrow's game a big game against DC United.
Don't overlook anybody. Don't overlook anybody.
I mean, I'm not the coach. I can overlook whoever I want. But a win at home against Tigres next week would be huge for that club.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, it would be a win, the biggest win aside from the final of the U.S. Open Cup. That would be the biggest win of their
you know what's going to be interesting?
History.
You know what's going to be interesting? They're gonna play in Orlando. I want to see how many of the fans are the Mexican fans, because the Mexican teams travel well,
bro.
And you have a large population there. I want to see how the stadium is divided, because anytime the Mexican national team plays in the U.S., it's like a home game for the most part.
Yeah.
So I want to see how it's going to be in Orlando. Obviously, I don't think it's going to overflow. But I do believe they're going to have a pretty good turnout.
Know, man.
That's a popular team. Tigres is a very popular team over there.
Yeah. But yeah, man, you're right. Mexican fans travel really well, bro. And there's a lot of Hispanic people in Central Florida. So
absolutely.
I've gone. I play a little futbolito here every now and then, and yeah, there's a good amount of Mexicans here too. So maybe they are Tigres fans.
And like you said, Latin people. And just Latin in general, you're going to go see an international game. So you're going to go out there and check it out, and maybe they haven't been out there.
Millonarios played against I forget which German squad. I think it was Hertha Berlin. Yes. And not even at Exploria Stadium, at some like weird I think it was a cricket stadium somewhere like south of Orlando, and it was packed full of Colombians.
Oh man, and down here too, and they were noisy and they were loud and they were chanting and they had a great time. They had a great time.
That's what it's all about.
That team has a big fan base. They really do. You have to give it to them.
All right, man. Well, I think that's it for this week's edition of Vice City FC, bro. You have any parting thoughts?
Just in the game, like what do we think is going to happen for the game? I'm curious to see if Miami's able to hold out again, like another clean sheet. If they do, that would be fantastic. If not, I would say maybe a 1-1 game. But New York hasn't been in its greatest form, and they really want to come out. So maybe they open up and Miami can put two on them and 2-1. But I'm gonna go and let's say 1-1 with Miami playing well over there.
There we go. All right, and for Orlando's game tomorrow, I think they're gonna win 1-0 because DC, they give up more goals than they score. So
that's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah, bro. They're negative in the goal differential right now. So and Orlando, they got that stout defense with El Pulpo back there also. So I don't foresee DC putting anything in the back of the net.
The cherry blossom uniform is not going to help them.
Not at all.
Those are cool kids. They're going to look nice with that loss. They're going to take the L with a nice kit.
Yeah, man. And then next week against Tigres at home, bro. I think Facundo's gonna come through.
He's gonna show out.
He's gonna show out, bro.
And then Tigres is gonna buy his ass for like 10, 12 million.
We'll see. Yeah. It could be.
Yeah, nice. I like
Yeah,
it. I
man.
like it. Hey, Inter Miami Nation. I'm saying
Uh-huh.
1-1, but I just I feel they're gonna win,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna be conservative because it's a first road trip, and
yeah.
but if they show me that they can shut this team out on the road,
Hmm.
fireworks next game.
Bro,
Fireworks
if
next game.
if Miami wins this weekend at New York, I'm gonna pick them to win every week for the rest of the season. I'm never gonna pick them. Never gonna pick them to lose. That's it. They convinced me.
Oh, I had a video of in the Philly game of a couple of guys from the in the green lot
Uh-huh.
doing the dance, Bienvenido
Yeah.
Miami stuff. We gotta do a little snippet to make that like the after goal scoring
Oh
or
yes.
after the game, winning
Yeah.
dance and stuff. We gotta
For
get that
sure.
going. We gotta
All
get
right.
that
We'll
going.
we'll get that done. We'll have Edwin cut that up for you.
Just running there. All right, Fungus. It's
Yeah,
been it's
man.
been it's been great, man. Hang
Yes, sir.
take it easy, brother. Enjoy
Thank
your
you,
time
sir.
up there in Orlando City. I'm gonna watch the game tomorrow, have a couple brewskis, and let's see what happens.
Got bro. Enjoy that Apple TV, man. All right,
Peace.
Lemonheads. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Vice City FC. We'll see you. We'll see you soon. Have a good one.